Good evening. Welcome. I think we got the wrong theme music. It is the LA Cinema Film Quiz, the 14th edition, another week, and I think we're ready for some action. Good evening all. Couple of points on offer if you recognise that famous theme tune, film related of course. Bit of nostalgia for you. The old Barry Norman days, little tribute to the late presenter, BBC presenter, journalist and author as well. Wrote many books over the years and presented the film programme, I think, for over 25 years on BBC, and still my favourite on the BBC Anchor flagship, the film programme. So I thought I'd start off with a little bit of music from the show, just a little bit of reminiscing and nostalgia all for you. Ready for this evening's quiz. Hope you're all well. Thanks again for joining me for yet another edition of the quiz. It's the 14th consecutive week. I call it the second series during the second UK lockdown. And in just a minute, I'll announce the questions, the topics for this evening. We'll be doing another 2 mini film reviews of 2 films that I've watched this week, and we'll be giving it either the thumbs up or the thumbs down treatment. So I'll reveal those films a bit later. We'll reveal the answers to the quiz questions at the end, and we'll see who we've got this evening. So we've got Susan. Good evening to you. Dave back, who loves Barry Norman, loves a bit of cinema nostalgia of the old years, and Mr. Harlequin also back. So good evening to you as well. Here are tonight's topics revealed. Okay, you ready? Round number 1. So round number 1 this week, this was a request from Dave. It's the funny man, Eddie Murphy, for the first opening round. Then number 2, we're going to be doing film logos. What on earth? All will be revealed in just a moment. Number 3, we've got movie sidekicks. And then we move to round number 4. Another request. I think this one was from Bikey Chick, I recall. Vietnam War films. And lastly, the penultimate round is actors and actresses behind the camera. So actors and actresses doing the work of the director. We'll be asking you 10 questions on those people, who they might be. Okay, so we'll start off with a little bit of movie news first, and then a couple of film purchases on DVD and Blu-ray, see what you think. And then we'll start the quiz. So good evening all, hope you enjoy it. As I said, it's all good fun. It's just to test your cinema knowledge and find out how you did at the end. It's not a competition, no prizes, it's all just fun. And we all share a common love of cinema. So the news this week. Okay, so I read Martin Scorsese, controversial and in the news yet again. Going back over a year ago, he made some comments about Marvel films, saying about kind of theme park cinema, kind of different experience. Now he's kind of made comment about the streaming channels, arguing that the art of cinema is being devalued by streaming services, reducing them to content. I've not read the essay yet. I need to read up on it. So I'm not going to make further comment on that because I've not read the essay at all or any detail. That was the first bit of news. Martin Scorsese speaking about the rise of streaming services and how cinema is changing and evolving. And last bit of news, Paddington 3, Studio Canal announcing Variety magazine that they'll be making a 3rd film to finish off the trilogy of popular Paddington films about the bear, the Peruvian bear, a much loved British character, of course. We all love Paddington, and the first 2 films were pretty good, in fairness. Okay, so two purchases this week on DVD and Blu-ray. Two items came through the post. I'll quickly share them with you, see if you've heard of any of these films or seen them, or maybe you want to check them out. Here's the first one. I started watching this one last night and I put my hands up. I'd had a few too many drinks and fell asleep. Not because the film was particularly bad. It was quite an interesting little film, but just tiredness got the better of me. The first one I bought this week was a 1980s film, classed as an Australian film, directed by a Yugoslavian filmmaker, which seems odd. It stars Eric Roberts, Julia Roberts' brother, and Greta Scacchi. It's called The Coca-Cola Kid. I think this one came out in 1985. It's kind of a little bit of an attack on corporate companies and Coca-Cola as a brand. So I'll give you a little bit of lowdown on that next week. And then the next one is The Last Detail, the Jack Nicholson film from the 1970s on Blu-ray. Nicholson making some of his best work in the 70s. So another little purchase from this week. Okay. You all ready for the quiz, everyone? The only thing I'll say, the usual thing is don't write the answers in the live chat window because everyone will see them. And the answers will be revealed at the end. So good luck, everyone. And here we go, the opening round on the funny man himself, Mr. Eddie Murphy. Here we go. Question number one. Name the 1987 live stand-up performance film with Murphy and directed by Robert Townsend. For an hour and a half, Murphy is uncensored, uncut, and talking about his favorite subjects, sex and women. So I'm looking for the title of an Eddie Murphy film, a documentary film, a stand-up live performance released in 1987 and directed by Robert Townsend. For an hour and a half, Eddie Murphy is uncensored, uncut, and talking about his favorite subjects, sex and women. Name the title of the film. So 10 questions on Eddie Murphy. As we move on to the second question of the night, round number one. Murphy's film debut was the crime comedy 48 Hours. Name Murphy's male co-star in the movie who plays a hard-nosed cop who has to team up with him after being temporarily paroled. So I'm looking for a male co-star in Murphy's debut film, the crime comedy 48 Hours. But I'm looking for Murphy's male co-star who plays a hard-nosed cop who has to team up with him after he's temporarily paroled. I'll repeat any of these at the end of the round if you need them shouting back out. Number three, Murphy has only received one Oscar nomination in the category of supporting actor for his role in which 2006 film? It's about a trio of black female soul singers in the 1960s. So a more up-to-date film in the 2000s, 2006. But Murphy's only received one Academy Award nomination in the category of supporting actor. The film, released in 2006, is about a trio of female soul singers in the 1960s. But for 1 point, tell me the name of this film. Quite surprised when I saw he'd only received the one Oscar nod, only one nomination, never received the award. Number four now. Name the character Murphy voices in the popular Shrek animated movies. So a children's film, a good family film, but I'm looking for the character Murphy voices in the popular Shrek animated movies. That's number four. Halfway through the round, I'm just going to have a quick swig of water. No booze tonight after last night's shenanigans and falling asleep on the couch. At least I didn't get kicked out of the house, I guess. Number five now. Murphy directed which 1989 crime comedy set in the 1930s, which co-stars Richard Pryor? The film is about a New York City illegal gambling house owner and his associates who must deal with strong competition, gangsters, and corrupt cops to stay in business. So for question 5, I'm looking for a film directed by Murphy in 1989, but it's a comedy set in the 1930s, co-starring Richard Pryor. The film's about a New York City illegal gambling house owner and his associates who must deal with strong competitions, gangsters, and corrupt cops to stay in business. Tell me the name of the movie, please. We move on from a film directed by Murphy, and I'm now looking for a British co-star for question 6. Here we go. Name the British actor who stars alongside Murphy in Beverly Hills Cop and plays villain and murder suspect Victor Maitland. One of Murphy's most famous roles as the Detroit cop, but name the British actor who stars alongside Murphy in Beverly Hills Cop and plays villain and murder suspect Victor Maitland. Couple more left in this round, the opening round tonight on the Hollywood star and comedian Eddie Murphy. Number 7, 2 points on offer here, point for each, and I'm looking for 2 answers for this one. Beverly Hills Cop related again. In which year was Beverly Hills Cop 2 released? And for a bonus point, name the film's British director who died in 2012 and has a famous filmmaking brother. So a point for each. Firstly, for 1 point, I'm looking for the year in which Beverly Hills Cop 2 was released cinematically. And for the extra point, I want you to name the film's British director. He died in 2012 and has a famous filmmaking brother. That is 7. Moving on to number 8. Name the 2019 Netflix film where Murphy portrays Rudy Ray Moore, a comedy and rap pioneer who proved people wrong when his funny kung fu alter ego became a 1970s blaxploitation phenomenon. So this was a film that Murphy was tipped to receive an Oscar nomination last year, but sadly lost out and wasn't in the running. So I'm looking for a 2019 Netflix film. Murphy plays Rudy Ray Moore, a comedy and rap pioneer who proved people wrong when his funny kung fu alter ego became a 1970s blaxploitation phenomenon. 2 more to go. We move on to number 9. Number 9 now, television. Murphy rose to fame on which popular television sketch show, where he was a regular cast member from 1980 to 1984. This show was almost like an American institution back in the early 80s. But for number 9, Murphy rose to fame on which popular TV sketch comedy show, where he was a regular cast member from the years 1980 to 1984. And the final one, number 10, I nearly gave this away earlier on. Murphy will reprise the role of which Detroit cop in the 4th installment of the Beverly Hills Cop franchise? So I'm looking for the character name. Famous character. He's played him on 3 occasions. We'll be playing him for a 4th. Beverly Hills Cop 4 in the works, but name the character he will play or reprise. Okay, the opening round all done. Hope you enjoyed round 1 on Eddie Murphy movies. How did you get on for your first round? Are you up on your Eddie Murphy? Are you a fan of the comedian? any predicted scores for this opening round? Good evening, Tom. Good to see you. So a first-time player, Tom Perkis, lives in Long Ashton in the village. Really good lad. Yeah, I can do 6 and 7. Yeah, not a problem. Dave Confident, good start for him. All questions answered. Fingers crossed for a good start. We'll do question 1 first, Andy, no problem. Here was question 1. Name the 1987 live stand-up performance film with Murphy and directed by Robert Townsend. For an hour and a half, Murphy is uncensored, uncut, and talking about his favourite subjects, sex and women. I'm looking for the name of the film. It's a live stand-up documentary film. Moving on to number 6, repeated. Name the British actor who stars alongside Murphy in Beverly Hills Cop and plays villain and murder suspect Victor Maitland. And number 7, 2 points on offer, 1 point for each. In which year was Beverly Hills Cop 2 released? So I'm looking for the original cinema release, the year. And for the extra point, name the British director. He died in 2012 and has a famous filmmaking brother. Okay, Tom saying thanks, no problem for the shout out. Good to see you. Only one not sure about, says Mr. Harlequin. Shirley Cormish is saying possibly a 6. Bit of movie trivia for me, saying Mr. Harlequin. Beverly Hills Cop was originally written for Sylvester Stallone. Couldn't imagine Sly Stallone playing the lead part. Any other predicted scores for round number 1? We'll move on to round number 2 in just a minute. Film logos is round number 2. I'll explain in just a minute. So round number 2 will be movie logos. Tricky little round, this one. I'd say the hardest tonight. I'm going to play some movie idents for you with a sound, a little soundtrack, a jingle. I'll give you a little bit of a history and a little bit of a clue. It's 10 in total, a point for each. Bikey Chick saying we have an answer for every question, but a couple of guesses for the opening round. Okay, so we'll go with round number 2. This is a little bit different. It's film logos, as I said. So I'm going to play you 10 clips, the little jingles or sound idents for famous film companies. So famous film studios that distribute and back cinema projects, films, big film companies. And for 1 point, just name the company. So number 1, I'm looking for a US film studio that's founded in 1912 and famous for being the oldest surviving film studio in the USA. So that's your clue. Here we go. Here is number 1. Start again. That was a little bit low. That was number 1. So I'm looking for the company logo, a US film studio founded in 1912 and famous for being the oldest surviving film studio in the USA. That's number 1. So you'll always see these idents at the beginning of these films, whether it be on DVD, whether it be streaming or at the cinema. Here's number 2. So the clue is founded in 1923 by brothers Harry, Albert, Sam, and Jack, and one of the big 5 major American film studios. Here we go. Number 2. That was number 2. I'll give you the clue again. It was founded in 1923, the studio, by brothers Harry, Albert, Sam, and Jack, and one of the big 5 major American film studios. Okay, clue number 3. Film logos, round 2. This studio was originally founded in 1918 by brothers Jack and Harry Cohen, but operating under its current name since 1924. Here's the jingle. Slightly longer one, that one, in duration. The clue again for number 3. Originally founded in 1918 by brothers Jack and Harry Cohen, but operating under its current name since 1924. Moving on to film logo number 4. A relatively new film company formed in 1997 in Vancouver, Canada. Here it is. Get ready for the jingle. Okay, so a Canadian company, a relatively new company. It was formed in 1997. That was number 4. Number 5, the clue is me. So if you've watched the quiz for weeks, it relates to my working life. And the clue is they're a subsidiary of Viacom CBS. It's the 5th oldest film studio in the world and the 2nd oldest film studio in the USA. Here is the jingle. Okay, so the clue again. That one was number 5, halfway through the round. So a subsidiary of Viacom CBS, so a huge corporate company, the 5th oldest film studio in the world, and the 2nd oldest film studio in the USA. What is the name of the company? Number 6, a huge clue. A British feature filmmaking arm of a national institution. That's your clue. Here is the jingle. Get ready. Nice and short, that one. So this is a British company. Number 6, British feature filmmaking arm of a national institution. Moving on to 7, here's your clue. An American entertainment company formed by Arnon Milchan and founded in 1982. So a relatively new company. Well, 40 years old, but relatively new compared to some of the others. And get ready for this one. Here we go. Another short one. So the clue was formed in 1982 by Arnon Milchan, an American entertainment company. But tell me their name. Number 8 is nice and easy. is one of the most famous movie companies, founded by two brothers back in 1923. I think you'll all get this one. Here we go. Okay, I got a feeling everyone's going to get that one. Probably the easiest one of the lot. It's a tricky round. The clue was one of the most famous movie companies, founded by two brothers in 1923. That's number 8. Number 9 now. I'm looking for an American film production studio and label of the Warner Bros. Pictures Group division, founded in 1967, and an independent film distribution company. So this is a film company more in line for independent film distribution. Here we go. Play the jingle for you in just a sec. Here we go. Another short one, and the clue again. So number 9, an American film production studio I'm looking for is a label of the Warner Bros. Pictures Group division, founded back in 1967 and mainly focused on independent film distribution. Tell me the name. And the last one, the clue is a French film production and distribution house formed in 1988. If you watched the quiz from the beginning, I mentioned them at the beginning of the quiz in the movie news. So another clue there for you. Here is the jingle. Last one, number 10. Okay, the final one. That was all 10 film logos and jingles. A little bit different. We've not done that kind of thing before. A really hard round. How did everyone fare with this one? Very hard, I'd say, this round. Any predicted scores for this particular round? Anyone quietly confident that they got a high score? I thought this one was particularly hard. I did enjoy doing this one. 10 out of 10 for Dave. Really confident. Thought there were some really tricky ones in there. How did everyone else fare with the film logos? I was expecting most of you to say, don't ever do this one again. The clues didn't particularly give anything away. Most of us wouldn't know when these companies were founded. The proprietors involved, the entrepreneurs that set them up, I wouldn't know most of the names, but there are some giveaway clues for some. How did everyone get on? In a minute, we'll take a short little break and I'll do my first review. The first film I watched this week and let you know what I thought and if you've seen it. Bikie Chick saying that was a difficult one. Fun, very tough, but I've answered all 10, but nervous with the old teeth. 1 out of 10 for me. Amanda may have got a few, says Mr. Harlequin. Yeah, hard round that one. Okay, so we'll break things up with a little film review. I watched 2 films this week. One, a Netflix film, a Netflix release exclusive. And the second one, an older film, but with the same leading actor. But before I do that, I was going to show you a little mascot I brought along tonight. Something I dug off my shelf, keeping me company. They'll probably keep making a noise. This is my ET. I think his head moves as well. It's quite sweet. Keep him hidden away. Found him recently, still working when you put the batteries in. I don't know if he's a kind of collector's item now. Yeah, my little ET mascot. So I'll keep him by my side every week, bring him along. Oh, he's still making the noise. Okay, so he's going to keep going now. Okay, so the first film I watched this week was News of the World, the new Paul Greengrass film, a Western starring Tom Hanks and a young girl I'd never heard of called Helena Zengel. And here's a little synopsis. A civil war... Oh, E.T.'s going again. Shouldn't have brought him. A Civil War veteran agrees to deliver a girl taken by the Quarry people years ago to her aunt and uncle against her will. They travel hundreds of miles and face grave dangers as they search for a place that either can call home. Oh, he's going again. Shouldn't have brought him. Okay, so the first film I watched is the latest Tom Hanks film, a Western by Paul Greengrass. I got to be honest, I really enjoyed it. I like my Westerns anyway. I do like Tom Hanks. He grows on me as an older actor, a great human being as well. I thought it was a pretty good Western. I didn't really see Hanks as necessarily as a leading cowboy, but I think he pulls off the job particularly well. And the cinematography is really, really good. I like the fact that Paul Greengrass is doing kind of different types of film. He doesn't stick to one genre. And all in all, I thought it was a pretty decent Western. I give it the thumbs up. It's worth a watch, particularly if you like your Westerns, particularly if you like Tom Hanks as a leading man. So check it out. It's called News of the World. It has got a slight news slant on it because Hanks is a man that goes from town to town, reading the town folk the latest news from the newspaper. So it's got that element as well. And I thought the younger girl I've not heard of was very good as well. So if you've got Netflix, give it a go. It's a good little film, worth watching. Okay, so Lucy Hawkins saying, love the ET. He wants to join in. I'm sure he'll make a better host. And we'll go to round number 3 now. So we've done rounds 1 and 2. Eddie Murphy was the opening round. Film logos was the number 2 round. Film sidekicks is the next one. Okay, so these are sidekicks. People who are kind of sidekicks to the hero or the leading man or woman in the film. 10 questions with a couple of extra points on offer. Here we go. Movie sidekicks, round 3. 2 answers to this, so a point for each. I'm looking for 2 answers. So as I said, a point for each, obviously. Here we go. Princess Leia called him a walking carpet, but Han Solo's Wookiee co-pilot is a favorite sidekick. Name him and the late actor who played him up until The Force Awakens. So we kick off round number 3 with a Star Wars question. And imagine there's a lot of Star Wars fans here for tonight's quiz. Who's not a Star Wars fan? But question 1, Princess Leia called him a walking carpet, but Han Solo's Wookiee co-pilot is a favorite sidekick. Name him and the late actor who played him up until The Force Awakens. Number 2, we go to animation, family film. Here we go. Name Wallace's dog companion in Aardman's Oscar-winning animated family favorites, including a feature-length movie entitled The Curse of the Were-Rabbit. Bit of name dropping, but funny enough, I know the guy who wrote the screenplay for that, a famous Bristolian name. Really great guy as well, Bob Baker, based in Bristol. He wrote a lot of the Doctor Who's in the 70s as well, for John Pertwee and the name escapes me. He was the longest running Doctor Who, Tom Baker. But for number 2, name Wallace's dog companion in Aardman's Oscar-winning animated family favourites, including a feature-length movie called The Curse of the Were-Rabbit. Number 3's slightly trickier, a live-action film now, a popular one. Name Indiana Jones's companion, who was only 11 years old and saves Jones by driving a getaway car in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. What's everyone drinking this evening? I'm just on the water to keep my throat soothed. Not on the alcohol tonight, not after last night's shenanigans. Number 3 again, name Indiana Jones's companion. He was only 11 years old and saves Indiana Jones by driving a getaway car in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Number 4 now. This is a question my wife would get straight away. She's been listening to the soundtrack with a bit of Kenny Loggins with, Playing with the Boys. Number 4, name Maverick's sidekick, ideal wingman, drinking buddy, and fighter jet support, whose death in the line of duty spurs the grief-stricken Maverick to greatness and destiny. So this is a question from Top Gun from the 1980s. But name Maverick's sidekick, ideal wingman, drinking buddy, and fighter jet support, whose death in the line of duty spurs the grief-stricken Maverick to greatness and destiny. I'm looking for the character name for number 4. Number 5 now, we go back to the good old days of black and white Hollywood classic cinema. Humphrey Bogart plays nightclub owner Rick in Casablanca. But name the piano player he strikes up a close friendship with. So again, I'm looking for the name. He's a musician, a piano player. Some famous scenes between Rick, the nightclub owner, played by the great Humphrey Bogart. But name the piano player he strikes up a close friendship with in the 1940s film Casablanca. I'd imagine we got some superhero fans playing the quiz tonight. This is a superhero question. So if you're not, it would be a tricky one. Number 6, name Kick-Ass's female sidekick in the 2010 Matthew Vaughn film Kick-Ass, whose dad is played by Nicolas Cage. So for this one, you can give me the name, the real life name of the character, or a superhero name. Doesn't matter which one. Oh yeah, so I'm looking for the character. So who's the character that Bogart is friendly with, a piano player in Casablanca? So the character name, not the actor. Okay, so number 6 again. I'm looking for Kick-Ass's female sidekick in the 2010 Matthew Vaughn film Kick-Ass, whose dad is played by actor Nicolas Cage. Another actor with a Southwest connection. He's got a place in Bath, I believe, Nicolas Cage. And my next door neighbour was telling me that they knew a guy who was his chauffeur, which seems crazy. Lives in Bath, apparently, or has a place in Bath, which is literally about 12 miles away. Number 7, Batman's sidekick is Robin. We all know that. But name the actor who plays Robin in Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. The guy who was kind of a big upcoming star in the 90s and kind of disappeared a little bit. But number 7, Batman's sidekick is Robin. But name the actor who plays Robin in Batman Forever and Batman and Robin with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And George Clooney is the Caped Crusader. Moving on to number 8. Name Wayne Campbell's, played by Mike Myers, sidekick in Wayne's World and Wayne's World 2. And for a bonus point, name the actor who plays him. 2 points on offer, a point for each, obviously. I'm looking for the character name. So in Wayne's World, Wayne's sidekick. In Wayne's World 1 and 2. And secondly, I'm looking for the actor that plays him. So I'm looking for the name of the character, the sidekick. In Wayne's World, Wayne's big friend, big colleague. And the actor's name, please. Number 9 now, tricky one. Anyone who likes the 80s will probably get this one. Name Ferris Bueller's truant high school friend who accompanies him on his misadventures and even impersonates Ferris's girlfriend's father on a phone call to the school principal. The character is played by actor Alan Ruck. So hard question, that one. But I'm looking for Ferris Bueller's truant high school friend. He accompanies Ferris on his misadventures and even impersonates Ferris's girlfriend's father on a phone call to the school principal. The character is played by actor Alan Ruck. One more left in this round number 3. Question 10, the final one. Bit easier, this one. I'd imagine probably all of you will get this one. Name Paul Simon's sidekick, who is known for his beautiful voice and appearing in Mike Nichols' Carnal Knowledge and Nicholas Roeg's Bad Timing. So we're looking for a performer, a musician, principally, and also he's had a little go at film acting as well. So I'm looking for Paul Simon's sidekick, famous for his beautiful voice, and appearing in Mike Nichols' Carnal Knowledge and Nicholas Roeg's Bad Timing. Who is he for 1 point? Okay, third round that was, comprising again of 10 questions. Dave saying he's a fan of Ferris Bueller's Day Off, one of his favourites of the 80s. He's going to shoot me down. I'd not seen it, and I did watch it during the lockdown, and I did a little review on it. I was a little bit disappointed, I got to be honest. I didn't think it had held up as well as some other films from that period. Not one of my favourites. Not a bad film, but how did everyone fare with this round? Anyone confident of a top score for your third round? How did we get on with movie sidekicks? Minority tonight. Bikey Chick saying, what? Love Ferris Bueller's. Okay, so we'll move on. We've got 2 more rounds left. We'll move on to the 4th round in just a minute. We'll reveal all the answers at the end, obviously. Dave, quietly confident on this one again. Did well on this round. Answered most of the questions. Okay, we'll move on to 4. Most importantly, I hope you're enjoying tonight's quiz. We've been doing this a long time now in two different segments during the initial lockdown and the second one. Number 4, somebody requested films on the Vietnam War. So we've got 10 questions on films about the Vietnam War. Vietnam War films. Here we go. Okay, we'll go with question number 1 to open up. Okay, I want you to name the 1978 film, which earned Oscars for Jon Voight and Jane Fonda. The film is directed by Hal Ashby and is about a woman whose husband is fighting in Vietnam but falls in love with another man who suffered a paralyzing combat injury in Vietnam. Okay, so question number 1. So I'm looking for a 1978 film. It won Oscars for Jon Voight and Jane Fonda and directed by Hal Ashby. It's about a woman whose husband is fighting in Vietnam, but she falls in love with another man who suffered a paralyzing combat injury whilst also serving in Vietnam. It's a film I've never seen. I've heard good things about this film. Number 2 now, there's 2 points on offer. So again, I'm looking for 2 answers. Number 2, name the 2 leading Hollywood actors who play Erickson and Meserve, 2 Vietnam soldiers who kidnap a female villager in Brian De Palma's Casualties of War. So another film from the 1980s, a film set in and around and during the Vietnam War. Excuse me, but on this occasion, I'm looking for the 2 male stars. So the 2 lead male stars play 2 Vietnam soldiers who kidnap a female villager in director Brian De Palma's Casualties of War. Another film to add to my list. I've never seen Casualties of War. It looks a good film. Anyone tonight seen it? Number 3 now. I'm looking for an actor's name on this occasion. Name the American actor who earned the Best Supporting Academy Award in 1979 for his performance as Nick in 1978's The Deer Hunter. So an epic 3-hour classic Vietnam War movie. Won Best Film, but named the actor who earned the Best Supporting Actor Oscar in 1979 for his performance as Nick in 1978's The Deer Hunter. That is number 3. Number 4 now, round 4 on Vietnam films. An Oliver Stone question. Which Oliver Stone Vietnam film, which examined the brutality of war and the duality of man in conflict, won the Best Picture Oscar in 1987? I forgot this one won Best Picture back in the late 80s. It won Best Picture in 87. But I'm looking for an Oliver Stone Vietnam War film. It examines the brutality of war and the duality of man in conflict. And the Best Picture Oscar winner, tell me the name of that film. We move from Oliver Stone to another American filmmaker, one of the all-time greats, Stanley Kubrick. Number 5. Name the actor who plays a pragmatic US Marine in Stanley Kubrick's Full Metal Jacket. He observes the dehumanizing effects that the Vietnam War has on his fellow recruits, from their boot camp training to the war itself. So for number 5, I'm looking for the actor who plays a pragmatic US Marine in Kubrick's Full Metal Jacket. He observes the effects on the Vietnam War on his fellow recruits, from their boot camp training to the war itself. So an American actor. Number 5. Number 6 is a tricky one, probably the hardest question of the round. Looking for a documentary now. Name the 1987 documentary featuring letters written by US soldiers, airmen and Marines during the Vietnam War, and uses archive footage and features the voices of Robert De Niro, Willem Dafoe, Tom Berenger, and Ellen Burstyn. So this is quite an acclaimed documentary film. It was released in 87, and it's letters written by US soldiers, airmen and Marines during the Vietnam War. It uses archive footage, and it features voiceovers by Robert De Niro, Willem Dafoe, Tom Berenger, Ellen Burstyn, and a whole cast of names, but name the documentary feature. 7, slightly easier, a little bit more of an accessible film, a more well-known film. Okay, Robin Williams plays an unorthodox and irreverent DJ named Adrian Cronner in which 1987 Barry Levinson movie? So for question 7, Robin Williams is the star. He plays an unorthodox and irreverent DJ named Adrian Cronner in which 1987 Barry Levinson film? Famous soundtrack for that one, obviously, Radio Disc Jockey. Number 8, more of a contemporary film now. Name Spike Lee's latest Netflix film about the African American vets who returned to Vietnam seeking the remains of their fallen squad leader and the gold fortune he helped them hide. This is a recent release, came out last year on Netflix. The Spike Lee film, yet to see this one. But name Spike Lee's latest Netflix film. It's about 4 African American vets who returned to Vietnam seeking the remains of their fallen squad leader and the gold fortune he helped them hide. So the name of the film, please, for number 8. So go from a name of a film to the actor. I'm looking for a name of an actor, for question number 9. Name the Hollywood actor who plays Ron Kovic, a paralyzed Vietnam veteran who becomes a pro-human rights political activist in Oliver Stone's Born on the 4th of July. So Oliver Stone cropping up again, made a number of films on his view of the Vietnam War, made quite a few Vietnam War themed films. But for this question, I'm looking for the Hollywood actor who plays the character Ron Kovic, a paralyzed Vietnam veteran who becomes a pro-human rights political activist in Oliver Stone's Born on the 4th of July. So big Hollywood star. Question number 9. And nice and simple, number 10. Name the acclaimed American Oscar-winning filmmaker who directed the classic Vietnam War movie Apocalypse Now, one of my favorite Vietnam films. Stunning to watch on the big screen. It really is a cinematic film to see, projected onto the big screen with great sound. Stunning film. But name the acclaimed American Oscar-winning filmmaker who directed the classic Vietnam War movie Apocalypse Now. That's your 10 questions. We're nearing the end of the 14th edition of the quiz. I don't know who recommended this one last week. If so, let me know. And how did you fare with your war movies from Vietnam? We had some Oliver Stone questions. Apocalypse Now came up into the mix. Dave Film saying I didn't do bad. A few wrong, I think, but also a few guesses. Quietly confident. In a second, I'll do my second mini review of the week. This is the second film I watched, which was on via Amazon Prime. Richard coming up with a beauty. I don't know. I wasn't there. You sure? Lucy, got a few on that one. Quietly confident Lucy Hawkins. Okay, so we'll move on to the penultimate round in just a moment. Is actors and actresses as directors behind the camera. Bikey Chick saying not bad. 9 out of 11 would be a very good score indeed. Okay, so second film, and hopefully E.T. won't interfere. Okay, so I did Tom Hanks' latest film, which is the Paul Greengrass Western News of the World, which I spoke about, but was interfered by my extraterrestrial friend and colleague. I thought I'd do back-to-back Tom Hanks films, and I'm ashamed to say I've never seen Big, released in 1988 Directed by Penny Marshall, who'd worked with Tom Hanks on a couple of occasions, including Sleepless in Seattle and You've Got Mail. So the film stars Tom Hanks as the lead, Elizabeth Perkins, and to name but a few, the late John Hurt. Here's the synopsis. I suspect you all know the film. After wishing to be made big, a teenage boy wakes the next morning to find himself mysteriously in the body of an adult. Well, I kind of can't believe I've never seen this film. But my first impressions of Big was as a young kid being taken to a film at the Odeon in the year 1988. And I remember seeing the posters up, those famous film posters on the lobby walls, but never seen it. And I got to be honest, I really enjoyed Big. A good 2 hours. It was fun. I thought the script itself was pretty good. A really well written script. Tom Hanks obviously finds himself in the body of a 35-year-old man, goes to work in the city. He ends up working for a toy company, and he becomes their kind of top man in the company, giving them ideas on how their toys should be manufactured, how they should work. I kind of like the love interest. I like the way that develops, and she obviously wants to instigate a relationship, but being in the body of a young child, he obviously doesn't follow that through. I really enjoyed the film. I got to be honest. I thought Hanks was good. I think I fell in love with Elizabeth Perkins, and I did think what a good-looking guy Tom Hanks was back in his youth. So yeah, I give Big a thumbs up. Interestingly, Robert De Niro was originally cast in the role. Wanted to do it as a serious film, not a comedy. Would have been interesting to see what it would have been like with De Niro in the lead role. But thumbs up for Big. Tom Hanks is always good. Good value for money. I do like Tom. Good human being as well. Seems a very down-to-earth man. And I think Barry Norman said of all the stars he interviewed that he was the nicest. He was running late for the interview and was so apologetic. And he said what a nice all-round guy he was. Dealt with fame, I think, particularly well as well. One of the big leading stars. He could have lost the plot big time, I guess, and fallen into the demons and the excesses. But he's been married to one of his female co-stars for a long, long time. Really good guy. A lot of you seem to like Big, and I'm being corrected by Amanda. Nora Ephron made Sleepless in Seattle and You've Got Mail. I do apologize. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I think she passed away, didn't she, a couple of years back, I believe. And Amanda putting her thumbs up for Tom Hanks. Okay, let's move on to the last round. Actors and actresses behind the camera. 10 questions as we wrap up the quiz, the 14th week. Here we go. Number 1. Name the iconic American-Italian actor who directed the 2006 film The Good Shepherd, about the early history of the CIA, and the 1993 crime movie A Bronx Tale. I got to have a sip of water. I'm going to sound like Al Pacino in the morning with a husky voice. So number 1, name the iconic American-Italian actor who directed the 2006 film The Good Shepherd, about the early history of the CIA, and the 1993 crime movie A Bronx Tale. Now we go back to 1955. For number 2, name the acclaimed British actor who only directed one movie, the 1955 film The Night of the Hunter, starring Robert Mitchum. That's a great film if you've never seen it. From 1955, The Night of the Hunter. But I'm looking for the acclaimed British actor who directed the film. It was the only film he ever directed. Question number 3. Mel Gibson won the Best Director Oscar in 1996 for directing which biographical epic drama? Mel Gibson won the Best Director Oscar in 1996 for directing which biographical epic drama? That's number 3. It's a film I remember seeing at the cinema at the time. I enjoyed it at the time. I kind of feel if I watched it again, I probably might not have the same opinion. Number 4 now, a contemporary film. Name the Joel Edgerton movie he directed in 2015 about a married couple who run into an old acquaintance. Things take a turn when the man drops in unannounced at their house. The film stars Edgerton, Jason Bateman, and Rebecca Hall. Very good film indeed. I do like Joel Edgerton. I think he's a talent. This one he directed in 2015. It's about a married couple who run into an old acquaintance. But things take a turn for the worse when the man drops in unannounced at their house. The film co-stars Edgerton, Jason Bateman, and Rebecca Hall. Tell me the name of that film. Joel Edgerton is the director. Number 5. Name the popular American actor who directed the musical remake of A Star Is Born, which he co-stars along with Lady Gaga. So for number 5, I'm looking for a popular leading American star, and he directed the musical remake of A Star Is Born, co-starring alongside Lady Gaga. So kind of more up-to-date film. I think it came out 2019, maybe 2020. Losing track of the time, to be honest, at the moment. A couple of years back anyway. Number 6. Which American actor, famous for his comedy roles in the 1980s, directed Throw Mama from the Train, The War of the Roses, and Matilda? So I'm looking for an American actor famous for his comedy roles, mainly in the 1980s decade. He directed Throw Mama from the Train, The War of the Roses, and Matilda. But for 1 point, who is he? Number 7, we're going to go to an older film now. We're going to go back to the 1960s. In fact, 1961. Name the 1961 Western Marlon Brando directed, which stars himself, Carl Malden, and Ben Johnson. So Marlon Brando, one of the icons of method acting, one of the great actors of cinema, but he directed a film in 1961. It was a Western. It stars himself, Carl Malden, and Ben Johnson. Tell me the name of that film. Couple more left to finish up tonight. Number 8 now. Name the 1998 film directed by Warren Beatty. It's about a disillusioned liberal politician who puts a contract out on himself and takes the opportunity to be bluntly honest with his voters by affecting the rhythms and speech of hip-hop music and culture. So this is a film I've heard is very good. Came out in the late 90s, 1998, directed by Warren Beatty. It's about a disillusioned liberal politician. Takes the opportunity to be bluntly honest with his voters by affecting the rhythms and speech of hip-hop music and culture. But for 1 point, tell me the name of the film. Number 9 next, 2 more left. Name the American actor who directed the 1969 cult classic, Easy Rider. So question 9 repeated. I'm looking for the American actor who directed the 1969 cult classic, Easy Rider. And we wrap up with question 10, question 50 of the night. Nice and simple. Which famous comedian, actor, and director won the Best Screenplay Academy Award for writing the script for Hannah and Her Sisters? So I'm looking for a famous comedian, actor, and filmmaker. He won the Best Screenplay Academy Award for writing the script, or shall I say the screenplay, for Hannah and Her Sisters. Can you tell me his name? Okay, anyone need any repeating from the final penultimate round? If so, let me know. And how did you fare with your actors and actresses working behind the camera as opposed to in front? Although some star and direct. Clint Eastwood, famous for starring and directing in a number of his own films. Great director as well. Yeah, I can do number 3, no problem, Susan. Question number 3 was, Mel Gibson won the Best Directing Oscar in 1996 for directing which biographical epic drama? So 3, Mel Gibson won the Best Director Oscar in the year 1996, and I'm looking for the film, an epic drama based on fact, with a touch of fiction, I'd imagine. Anyone else need any repeating for this round? How did you fare for your last round? Any predicted scores for this one? We'll wrap up with all the answers to the questions in just a minute. And we'll see how you all did for this week's quiz. We'll see what your scores are as we go along. Most importantly, I hope you've enjoyed this evening. I hope you've enjoyed the last, couple of weeks, the months we've been doing the quiz. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've got something out of it. I hope it's just good fun. Puts a smile on your face at the end of the week, more importantly. That's what we're kind of here to do, or try to do, and kind of teach each other and learn a bit more about cinema, some nostalgia, reminisce about old films, hear about new films, hear about all kinds of films. Dave's saying he struggled a little bit on this last round. Okay, so we'll reveal the answers in just a minute. I didn't really have a topic of conversation. We normally do a discussion point, don't we? And I couldn't think of one this week that was kind of bit more interesting than just saying, what do you think of this? So I kind of was thinking earlier on today, been doing this quiz for a long time, talk about films with friends, colleagues, people I work with all the time. But I was kind of thinking, we all love film for different reasons, and some of us, it might just be to be entertained, just to watch a film on a night to escape reality, maybe because you've had a bad day at work, or you want to just enjoy something. You like fiction, you like storytelling. So my question tonight was going to be, what is your perception of film? Why do you watch films? What do you get out of film? I have to be honest, I'm a little bit pretentious with film. I've loved film ever since I was a young boy. But to be honest, it's like one of the great loves of my life. I know that sounds a little bit pretentious maybe, but I kind of feel a little bit like Francois Truffaut said of film, that he lives, breathes and sleeps film. I kind of feel that in my life a little bit with cinema. Discovered it very young, but it has a great sort of impact on my life. I collect films, as you can see in the background. I watch films all the time, but not just that. I work in cinema. I'm a manager in a cinema, as you know. I help run the film community cinema in the village, which is LA Cinema, Long Ashton Film. So I do that as well. I used to run my own events, promoting young film talent, working in short film. So for me, as silly as it sounds, I don't know if I could live my life in the same way if I didn't have film. It's kind of a big thing in my life. So yeah, I just wanted to really hear people's thoughts on cinema, why they watch films. Does it bring back memories of certain things, or we're all obviously here because we love cinema. So I was just interested to hear your thoughts, really. Do you work in cinema? We might have some people here who work in the film industry. I've met people who work in film. I've actually worked on a TV film. Suzanne saying started watching more films during the lockdown. Any ones you'd recommend that you've watched during lockdown? Any lockdown recommendations? That could be something we could do next week. Your tips, lockdown recommendations, best films you've watched, during the government lockdown. Cinema, the only place you can eat a huge box of popcorn without being judged. Yeah, and I think you have to remortgage your home to buy it these days. I think you get shares in the company. That's where they make their money, on the convenience, the snacks, the sweets, the beverages. Dave's saying I can't live without films. I love it all, especially the horror genre. I love the behind the scenes stuff. Films can bring a lot of nostalgia, which means a lot. Nice answer. I've watched less films since not being able to go to the cinema. So Amanda likes the cinema experience. Biker Chick, we watch a film pretty much every night. That's good. I try and watch about 2 or 3 a week if I can. Okay, hi everyone. I love cinema as well. Also a big thing in my life. That's great. Sometimes just for entertainment, and other times for the artistic and creative process. Cheers from Spain. Great to hear someone from Spain. I do love a bit of Spanish cinema. One of my favorites, Louis Buñuel. I love Louis Buñuel and Pedro Almodovar. Some great cinema. Me too, says Tom. Watched 5 this week. Wow. Recorded Pulp Fiction last night and got Jackie Brown on my box. Currently recording to Olivia. Jackie Brown I haven't seen since that was released. Lucy, we watch for lots of different reasons, for a good story, for good acting or visual effects. It's nice to lose yourself from reality for a while. Something I must admit I do like a good documentary. There's some great documentaries. I think real life stories can be really interesting. Mr. Harlequin, we have only been to 2 movies since this all started, but one of those was a drive-through, which was a new experience. I've never done a drive-through. Sounds good. Tom, Pulp Fiction is an awesome movie. Yeah, probably Tarantino's best. Okay, watching Hoop Dreams. Yeah, the basketball film. That's another one I've never seen. It was, I think, voted the best documentary ever made in a recent poll. But yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in this evening. We got some good numbers. Personally, like to thank everyone that subscribed to the channel as well. We're nearly up to 200, and ironically, I was looking at the video playback from last week, and the last week's quiz got nearly 400 views, which I was a little bit surprised about. Even got a thumbs down from someone, so I'm obviously doing something right. Okay, we'll announce the answers in ascending order then. You ready, everyone? Good luck. Hope you did well. It's all good fun. As I said, it's not a competition. So round 1 was Eddie Murphy films, wasn't it? Okay, so the name of the 1987 stand-up performance film is Eddie Murphy Rules. Or if you just put Rule, that's fine. So Eddie Murphy Rule is answer number 1. Murphy's co-star in 48 Hours is Nick Nolte. So Nick Nolte is answer number 2. Number 3, the Oscar nomination he received for Best Supporting Actor was for the 2006 film Dreamgirls. So answer number 3 is Dreamgirls. Number 4, the character he voices in Shrek is the donkey or donkey. Donkey, answer number 4. The film I gave you a description of that Murphy directed in 1989 was Harlem Nights. Did anyone get that one? Harlem Nights, co-starring Richard Pryor. Number 6, the British actor that plays the villain in Beverly Hills Cop is Stephen Burkoff. So Stephen Burkoff, answer number 6. 2 points on offer for number 7. A point obviously for each, two on offer. It was 1987 is the release date for Beverly Hills Cop 2. And the director is Ridley Scott's brother, Tony Scott. So Tony Scott is the director. 1987 was the year. Number 8, it was called Dolomite Is My Name. Dolomite Is My Name is the Netflix film released in 2019 with Eddie Murphy in the lead role. Saturday Night Live is answer number 9, the popular TV sketch show. Saturday Night Live, answer number 9. And the final one, number 10, he will reprise the role of Axel Foley for Beverly Hills Cop 4 if it's released. So Axel Foley is your final answer for number 10. So how did everyone get on? That was your opening round. Eddie Murphy films. Anyone get the Harlem Nights one? That was a little bit harder. How did we get on? The opening round of tonight. It was a recommendation from Dave Films. He said, get around on the funny man Eddie Murphy. So we did. Mr. Harlequin, good score, 10 out of 11. And Amanda got Harlem Nights, well done. Suzanne, a good score of 7. Bikey Chick, a very good score indeed, a full house, 11 out of 11. Dave did well again, joins Bikey Chick top of the leaderboard with an 11, well done. 6 for Lucy, good score. Gets worse from now on. I thought round 2, the logos one, I think is very hard. You ready for round number 2? I think we'll play them as well. Let me cue them up. Okay. I won't read out the clues again. Here was number 1. So answer number 1, that one was Universal. Obviously, I can see the idents as well. So answer 1 is Universal Studios. Here is number 2. Here we go. Play sound. Well, there's a clue in the music because this as time goes by. Casablanca. I mentioned the brothers. Jack was a big clue. It was Jack Warner. That's Warner Brothers. So Warner Brothers, who obviously backed Casablanca. So Warner Brothers, answer number 2. Here is number 3. This was a longer one, I think. Here we go. I should have just paused there and just said, try and guess it from that. That would have been hard. Okay, ready? That one was Columbia Pictures. So answer number 3, Columbia Pictures. Here was the fourth one. That was one of the harder ones because it's a newer company. It's formed in 1997. Is Lionsgate. So answer number 4 is Lionsgate. Here is number 5. Well, number 5, I said, was affiliated with Viacom. To be honest, I kind of work for this company because they own National Amusements. It's Paramount Pictures. So Paramount Pictures is the answer to number 5. Here we go with number 6. Nice and quick. I kind of gave it away in the clue. I said a British filmmaking arm of a national institution is BBC Films. So BBC Films was the answer there. Here we go. Next one. Very quiet. So Arne Milchan set them up. That one is Regency. So number 7 is Regency. Answer 7. Bet you all got this one. Shouldn't have given a clue for this one. So that was obviously When You Wish Upon a Star. It's, of course, is Walt Disney Pictures or Walt Disney. That is answer number 8. Okay, so I need to skip forward a little bit for this one. What will it be? It's not that, but it's this. That was one of the harder ones. New Line Cinema is that one. So number 9, New Line Cinema. And here's the final one, number 10. Okay, so 10, this company seemed to have a knack for funding good films. Formed in 1988 is Studio Canal. Studio Canal is the final answer. Tricky round, that one. How did everyone do for that round? That was movie logos. Obviously, these idents change over the years. Companies decide to rebrand, change things, go for a new look, try and be fashionable, try and do something new, refreshing, something a bit more eye-catching. Dave did well, 9 out of 10. As I said, Columbia TriStar, okay. Columbia's fine, honestly. Columbia's fine. Give you a point for that, Dave. No halves. Lucy, 4, tricky but good round. Yeah, I kind of like that round, I got to be honest. I'd imagine I'll be getting a solicitor's letter by all of them next week saying about using their copyright, but somebody's put up all those logos on YouTube. Bikey Chick got a 4, but liked the round. Okay, we'll move on to the answers for round number 3, which was sidekicks. Okay, so answer number 1, it's Chewbacca. That was nice and simple. And the actor that played him, who sadly died not long ago, was Peter Mayhew. So Chewbacca and Peter Mayhew. Number 2, Wallace's dog companion, I bet you all got this one, is Gromit from Aardman Animations, based here in Bristol. So Gromit, answer number 2. Number 3 was a little bit more tricky. Indiana Jones's 11-year-old companion from the Temple of Doom. It's Short Round. Short Round, answer number 3. Maverick sidekick in Top Gun is, of course, it's Goose. Goose, answer number 4. Number 5, Humphrey Bogart plays the nightclub owner Rick in Casablanca. I was looking for the piano player that he strikes a friendship with in the film. It's Sam. Play it again, Sam. I don't think he ever said that line. Sam is answer number 5. Number 6, I was looking for Kick-Ass's female sidekick in the 2010 film Kick-Ass. So it's Hit Girl, but if you put Mindy McCready, I'll give you a point. So Mindy McCready or Hit Girl is the answer for question number 6. Who's the actor who plays Robin in Batman Forever? And the Turkey, God, terrible film, but I quite enjoyed it. It's kind of a bad film that you love, Batman and Robin. It's Chris O'Donnell. Chris O'Donnell is your answer, number 7. Number 8 is Garth Olga. If you just put Garth, that's fine. So that's Wayne's companion in Wayne's World. And the actor that plays him for the bonus point is Dana Carvey. So Garth or Garth Olga and Dana Carvey, 2 points on offer there. Number 9 was tricky. Did anyone get Cameron Fry? Cameron Fry is Ferris Bueller's truant high school friend in the 80s film Ferris Bueller's Day Off with Matthew Broderick. So Cameron Fry, answer number 9. And number 10, Paul Simon's sidekick, of course, was Art Garfunkel. Simon and Garfunkel, the duo, popular, of course, in the 60s and onwards. He appeared in Mike Nichols' Carnal Knowledge and Nicholas Roeg's movie Bad Timing. So the final answer, number 10, Art Garfunkel. Okay, so it's your 10. So, oh, sorry, Lucy got an 8 for the last round on the logos. Very good indeed. How did everyone get on with this round? Beulah. What are your scores? How did you fare on this one? Your 10 questions on sidekicks. Kind of enjoyed doing this one, a little bit different again. We've not done this before. Movie sidekicks. Susanna 6. Mr. Harlequin, very good indeed. 11 out of 12 points. Very good. Bikey Chick, even better with a 12. Wow. 10 for Dave. Very good indeed. Doing well tonight, Dave. He was having a rant on social media earlier on, with myself included. We won't go into that. But he certainly warmed himself up tonight. He's doing well. Getting his frustration out on a quiz. Why not? Number 4, round 4 was films on the Vietnam War. 10 questions again. Number 1, answer 1, a 1978 film by Hal Ashby, earning Academy Awards for Jon Voight and Jane Fonda. The film is Coming Home. So answer number 1, Coming Home. Need to see that film. The 2 actors who star in De Palma's Casualties of War, 1 point for Michael J. Fox, and your second point for Sean Penn. So answers Michael J. Fox and Sean Penn. Number 3, it was Christopher Walken that took home the Best Supporting Actor Oscar back in 1979 for his performance in Michael Cimino's The Deer Hunter. So Christopher Walken, answer number 3. Oliver Stone directed this Vietnam film. It won Best Picture in 1987. It is Platoon. Platoon is answer number 4. The lead actor in Stanley Kubrick's Full Metal Jacket, playing a pragmatic US Marine, is Matthew Modine. Matthew Modine working with the great Stanley Kubrick. Excuse me. Number 6 was a really hard one. A documentary 1987 featuring letters written by US soldiers, airmen and Marines. And it featured archive footage and voiceovers reading the letters by Robert De Niro, Willem Dafoe, Tom Berenger, Ellen Burstyn, and many other names. Dear America, Letters Home from Vietnam. So answer 6, Dear America, Letters Home from Vietnam. Did anyone get that? Has anyone seen the film? I've not seen this. I need to watch it. It looks good. 7 was Robin Williams in Good Morning Vietnam, the Barry Levinson film from 1987. So answer 7, Good Morning Vietnam. Number 8, I was looking for the Spike Lee film that was funded by Netflix. It's The Five Bloods. The Five Bloods is answer 8. Number 9, the lead actor, the Hollywood superstar Tom Cruise, is in Oliver Stone's Born on the 4th of July. So Tom Cruise, answer 9. And number 10, nice and simple, who was the director of Apocalypse Now? It's Francis Ford Coppola. So Francis Ford Coppola, answer 10. Oh, you have to say the Robin Williams one properly. Oh, what did I say wrong? Did I do something wrong? I'm always doing something wrong. Anyone get the Dear America, Letters Home from Vietnam? Yeah, I got you. You're too clever, Rich. Too clever for me. Good morning, Vietnam. No, I can't do American accents. Anyone get the Dear America, Letters Home for Vietnam one? The documentary. I need to see that. How did everyone do with their scores for round 4? What's on the board with the scores for round number 4? Good morning, Vietnam. I like that. Good morning, Vietnam. Never be an actor. Great stuff. Right. How did we get? Suzanne, well done. An 8. Good score. Anyone else? How did everyone else fare? 8 again. So another lot of 8s on the board. A lot of repetition. 8, 8 and 8 so far. Bikey Chicken, Dave Films and Suzanne. Okay, let's move on to the last round, was it? Yeah. Actors and actresses behind the camera. So these are actors and actresses that have worked as directors, not in front of the camera, but behind it, or maybe co-starring in it as well. Answer number 1, the iconic American-Italian actor. Who might that be? Does James Ewan, your host, go on about him all the time? It's Robert De Niro, of course, who directed The Good Shepherd in 2006 and A Bronx Tale in 1993. So Bobby De Niro is answer number 1. 2 was a little bit more tricky. The director of The Night of the Hunter came out in 1955. Robert Mitchum. It's Charles Laughton. Charles Laughton, famous British actor, a very good one as well. Braveheart is the Mel Gibson film, of course, that won Best Director and Best Picture in 1996. I liked it then, but I'm not sure I'd like it now. I got to be honest. So Braveheart, answer 3. The Joel Edgerton film from 2015. If you've not seen it, it's very, very good. A very good thriller. And it's called The Gift. Check it out. The Gift. Really good film. Answer 4. Bradley Cooper, of course, is the popular American actor who directed the remake of The Star is Born, what I think he fell in love with and co-stars along with Lady Gaga. So Bradley Cooper, answer number 5. Funny man Danny DeVito. Danny DeVito is answer 6. Obviously popular comedian in the 80s. He directed Throw Mama from the Train, The War of the Roses. That was a good film with Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner. And Roald Dahl's film adaptation of Matilda. Number 7, the Marlon Brando directed Western from 1961 is One-Eyed Jacks. One-Eyed Jacks, answer number 7. The Warren Beatty film from 1988, it's a political film about hip-hop music and culture. It's Bulworth, which I haven't seen. I've heard it's good. Bulworth, answer 8. It was Dennis Hopper, of course, who directed the 1969 cult classic Easy Rider. Dennis Hopper, your answer number 9. And the final one, answer 50. It was Woody Allen that took home the Oscar that night for his writing of the screenplay, Hannah and Her Sisters. And Michael Caine also went home with an Oscar that night in the same film. So Woody Allen is your final answer of tonight. So that's all the answers for this evening's quiz. How did everyone get on for the final round? It was the 14th week. Lots of questions and topics on offer. We had Eddie Murphy. We had movie logos. We had stars behind the camera. All kinds of stuff going on tonight. Some tricky ones tonight. Vietnam films, of course. If you total up your scores from this week, let's see how we got on. Lucy saying not so good with a 4. 6 for Bikey Chick. I really got number 8 right. I put instead. I knew you'd come up with something funny, Rich. So we got 10 out of 10. Very good. He's trying to stoop me into using some foul language. Would I? My lips are sealed. I wouldn't use such language. How did everyone else fare? What are your scores for this evening? How did everyone do? Most importantly, I hope you enjoyed it. It's all good fun, of course. Just to test your knowledge on film. Total 41, Bikey Chick. Very good. Did well on some rounds tonight. Really well. It's a full house on a couple. 46. Very good, Dave. I think that ranting earlier has got you in good stead. 7 total for that round. Total 32. See you next week. Yeah, thank you, Susan Chilcott. Thank you. 47. Oh, just pipped Dave by 1. Very close indeed. Very tight. 41, 46, 32, 47. Best ever score for Dave Films. 345. Yeah, so some really good scores tonight. I've enjoyed tonight, I've got to be honest. It's been good fun. I did enjoy playing those movie idents. 30's good, Lucy. Not bad. Not bad at all. You've had some good scores. Okay, would you like to see us back next week? It'd be the 15th week, next Friday. If so, what would you like to see? Would you like to see anything different? Would you like any specific topics of conversation? Would you like to recommend some films yourself? What would you like to see? First time tuning in. Some very tricky questions and so much knowledge in the answers as I can see. Thanks a lot. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you'll be back next week. It's always nice to get new people tuning in, especially not from the UK. Yeah, I'd love to see you back next week. Thanks a lot. Thank you indeed. Audio clips. Yeah, I like that. Zombie films. We haven't done that one. That's a good suggestion. Michael Douglas, we haven't done. Road movies, we haven't done. Yeah, I hope to see you next week. Meryl Streep, we haven't done. Regency films, we haven't done. So that's a possibility. Movie critics could be quite an interesting one. Ewan McGregor, I like. I did come up with a list on my phone. I'll read out some suggestions I've got, but we've got plenty in there, which is good. Okay, so I've got films about political leaders, supporting actresses, box office smashes, Michelle Pfeiffer, documentaries, Stephen King films, that was a suggestion, Robert Redford, 2000 film tunes, and somebody last week said adult films. I thought erotic movies could be quite an interesting round. Not that I've seen any. Yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll obviously be back next week. Yes, the film's about political leaders. Okay, I wanted to go out with a final kind of thing as a bit of a laugh. Why don't we play this one again to see us out? Probably get sued next week, as I said. Everybody seems to be uploading these things. We'll finish up with a bit of ET to wave goodbye. He's a really good figure, this one. I'm pleased he's still working, though he ain't going to work when I've asked him to. Normally you just touch him and he goes off on one. Oh, he's come to life. Got more life in him than me, I think. There he is. Yeah, so we'll be back. So we'll be back next week. Same time, same place. It's always on a Friday. And we always start at 8:30. It's 8:30. Normally goes on for about just over 90 minutes, the quiz. So yeah, hope to see you next week. Brilliant. Don't forget, we're on Facebook. It's LA Cinema. And I was going to finish out with this. Well, E.T. and a little bit of this. Wrong show. It was the job I always wanted. Be Barry Norman. Good theme tune. Okay, so we'll be back next week. It'll be the 15th week. It's the LA Cinema Film Quiz. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good weekend. Good scores tonight. I'll see you next week. Same place. 8:30. Good night. Thank you. See you next week.